Okay, so we are here with Cam, and Cam truly is the man. He is our intern from the last 4 years, and he came to us from the Met School, and it's an alternative program, more of hands-on trainings, less conventional way of schooling. And so we started this process a while back with just getting a random phone call from a teacher saying, Mark, I have a student who needs to do an interview for school. Little did I know it was more of an interrogation. And so we started off this process where Kane came in and just, I thought was a simple interview with a student who was passionate about ponds and passionate about fish and just wanted to learn more about it. Little did I know what I was in for. Cam immediately sat down at this interview as a 14, 15-year-old student just going into his freshman year.
Yep.
And he grilled me. He grilled me about within the first 5 minutes of being there. Cam was grilling me on how many jobs do I do every year, how many of them were new installations, what did I sell them for, what was our profit margins on those things. I felt like I was more of a qualifying for a loan for refinancing the business, more than listening to this high school kid kind of walking all over the place as far as I just sat there answering. And I have a policy. If you have the guts to ask me an honest question, I'll give you an honest answer. So I feel like I did. I'll be honest. But before I knew, I guess I was being interviewed. I was being interviewed not for going through, but the next thing I knew, he was asking me, can I be your intern? And before I knew it, I just said yes. And here we are. It's 4 years later. And so I felt it fitting that here, now that he's entering graduation, that we kind of wrap this up by reversing the table a little bit. And so I'll be the one making my professional notes and doing the interviewing. And we will be recapping Cam's last 4 years. So I hope you enjoy this. All right, Cam. So we went over a lot of different things, and now everybody kind of has their highlights.
Yeah.
What would you consider both to be, first, what would be your worst experience within your internship over 4 years, and then follow up with what would be your best or favorite experience? Start with the worst.
Okay. Well, first of all, I wouldn't say worst and as really bad, because honestly, every experiment I've had here with Mark and everyone here has always come out to be interesting and funny. So it really, at the time, it was something that annoyed me, but I laugh at it now. Was had to help Mark plant some water lilies out of customer's pond, and there was something in the pond that shouldn't have been there. It was a snake, and I had to go swimming with it, and it was very interesting.
Now, mind you, on this, I have to set the stage a little bit. We walked up to this pea soup green large pond, and Cam has to walk into this thing with these giant pots of water lilies. And as we walk up to the edge of the pond, this snake comes slithering across the surface of the water towards us, disappears into some rocks. So we don't know where it went. But in the process of it coming to the shore, something even bigger came up from underneath and tried to eat the snake. So whatever the koi was that was in there, or the cat, it was probably a big catfish, tried to come up and eat the snake. So I have to give you credit, because that is my best scenario. My favorite situation that happened over the years was watching Cam's face, because I knew it was just koi and there was nothing ever going to hurt him in there. But seeing him go through that, but again, you were fearless, because I didn't force you to get in there. That was just the task at hand, that you had to get that in there, and you didn't skip a beat, and you went right in there until you lost your flip-flops.
You know what? I honestly have 2 pairs of flip-flops. I brought my old pair because I had a feeling something like that was going to happen. So it wasn't like I lost my favorite pair of flip-flops.
But it was funny.
It was funny, I will give you that.
So that's your worst. What would be your favorite situation?
I have a lot. So I could give like a whole list, but this video would go on for like 20 minutes. One of my favorite was having to work at the flower show sophomore year. Everyone, I don't know, part of it kind of gave me, I don't know, I wanted to feel like, you know, some of the older landscapers guys, like I wanted to show them that I could fit, like, you know, waking up at 6 a.m., being here for 7, and getting home at 8 p.m. at night, and just being able to work on all that stuff was very cool because you go to these events all the time and you don't know the work that's put in, and it was kind of cool just to see the work that was put in, and especially to be part of it. I really liked.
And I feel like that in your career here, that was your turning point. That was when you really started to shine, and when you started to embrace it and started impressing people, and they started looking forward to working with you, rather than, okay, here's a student I've got to help teach and coach along the way. That was, I find, around your sophomore year is when you started, towards the end, was when you really started coming out of your shell, and you did. You shined. You did an awesome job. But again, because you did it. You took the initiative. Nobody handed it to you. We handed you the opportunity to go to the show. But you volunteered. All the fundraisers, all the different, whether it was the home show, trade show, you've always just jumped on it. And I feel like that is key for someone to get the most out of an internship, is embrace every opportunity you can.
I definitely agree with that 100% because you get these opportunities that a lot of other kids aren't getting. And honestly, it'd be a shame if you throw these opportunities away because you think you're going to have a bad experience or not, but that's where you're going to make good memories, and that's where you're going to learn a lot of stuff in life, not just from sitting in the classroom.
Absolutely. I think that kind of all played together nicely. Okay, so this is, with the flower shows and functions and everything, I have to say that's one of the things that impressed me the most, and also led into some of my funniest and favorite memories of watching you go through, was you always embraced and you always took the initiative. That's what I feel students need more of. Is just, you don't know if you like it till you try it, so you always volunteered to help out. So when we did pet photos with Santa, I no longer could be Buddy the Elf because I was the photographer, so you volunteered and jumped right in to come in on Saturdays, dress up like Buddy the Elf, and help out with all that stuff. But we always carved out time to have fun by putting people through the Christmas tree wrapper, and these are some of my fondest memories and funniest lighthearted memories was again, it was the alternative hours. It wasn't the busy days and how you shined or didn't shine when dealing with customers. It was, you always took the initiative to give more than what was expected out of you, and that in turn led to the settings that led to dealing with pet photos with Santa and seeing Buddy the Elf. I mean, you even took one of our, we wanted to take for pet photos with Santa, we wanted to take Coy loves Santa too. So you took the initiative to put to dress up like Santa and go snorkeling inside a holding tank in the middle of January in 55-degree temperature inside a tank, while we sat there trying to film you with an underwater camera, trying to get some good footage for a video, and you didn't skip a beat. Nobody forced you to do it. You just, we threw out an idea. You said that'd be awesome, and you did it. Froze. But we got some cool footage, and that one didn't pan out the way we thought, but I'll always remember it. And there's been other times. I have to say, one of the funnier things that I always remember too is you always figured out a way to volunteer or get in something, and somehow it would backfire on you. Sort of like taking the initiative to fix the fish tanks and took the initiative. We set up the fish tanks, and sure enough, I start getting an emergency call over the radio saying, help, somebody help me out near the fish. And what did I walk into when I got out there? Do you remember this?
Okay, there was 2 times. I'm trying to remember which one that
You were
was.
reaching behind the tanks and got yourself...
Oh yeah, okay, yep. At first I thought I radioed casually, can someone just come out to the fish tanks just for a minute? Just, I didn't want to seem alarmed. So like 10 minutes went by and I'm like, okay, can someone please come out to the fish tanks? Then the 5 minutes goes by. At this point I've been stuck for a good 15 minutes. So I'm like, can someone please help me in the fish tanks? I'm stuck.
Did not ever expect to get a call from that. At that point, I come walking around the corner, and there's Cam wedged between 2 fish tanks with his back turned. So of course I had to whip out the camera to assess what was going on in the situation. That will always burned into the back of my mind, the look on your face when you came around the corner, and it was me that came around the corner and the camera in your face.
Yeah.
But you took it with strides.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't skip a beat. And good talking you got out. No interns were harmed in this scenario. Okay, so Cam, we've talked a lot about the programs and everything going through. You've successfully done your internship, and there are a lot of people that are going to be watching this, some students that possibly aren't fitting in the mold of traditional schooling and not really sure where to go. And so if they're going to shoot for the Met or one of these other charter schools, alternative learning, I want them to be as successful as you have been out of this. So what advice can you give to somebody who is struggling and wants to enter into one of these programs for them to be successful?
Well, I would tell them they want to look into a big picture learning school, which is the style of schools that do internships and stuff like that. I'd also say once they get an internship or are trying to find an internship, try to find something that they're passionate about, because honestly that's what's going to self-motivate them, and a lot of the time that's what people struggle with in life is self-motivation, and it's because they don't want to do that stuff. But if they find something they really want to do in life, they can self-motivate themselves and they can grow on their terms, but at the same time they can take those opportunities to better themselves by putting themselves out there in uncomfortable situations, but it's doing something that they like, so it will maybe not be as stressful for them. Just take every opportunity that's given to you, especially with internships, because that's how you make great memories. Honestly, every opportunity Mark has given me, I have nothing bad to say about any of them.
And I have to say that is what I see the most lacking in most students that are struggling, and I think that's what kind of led me to embracing and bringing on an intern when it came in, because I saw that initiative. That's really to me what stood out the most when you came in, was the fact that you might have been screaming on the inside when you were doing your interview, but you didn't let it stop you. And I think that is kind of goes into what you're saying. Get awkward. I'm not awkward, but uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Don't fear being uncomfortable, and it's going to be easier if you're passionate about the topic, and accept the fact that you're not going to like everything, but certain things you just got to do it. You just got to put yourself out there, embrace the good and the bad, and the bad is never as bad if you're passionate about the area and the topic.
Also, I'd say don't be afraid to fail. Honestly, I called a bunch of other places before I came to Agway. I'm not gonna lie, but every time I called them,
sorry, Cam, this interview is over.
Every time I called them, they just all they saw was like, because it wasn't a face-to-face interview. It was me actually trying to get time for them, and they always said I'm busy or this or that, and so I was scared about coming out here because this is the place I always came for my pond products and stuff. So I was nervous about failing it, the first interview with Mark. But honestly, that's kind of what self-motivated me into be like, okay, let's try this. Let's see if I can get an internship here, because I was happy and I was scared I wasn't going to be able to do something I loved at the Met. And being afraid to fail is almost as bad as not trying and failing than saying I'm gonna fail and not try at all. So I say just try, because you never know what's gonna come out of it. It's my biggest advice to anyone.
That's awesome, and I think that is well said, and we need more of that. So awesome job.
Hey Cam, aka Lingash. Hey, I just wanted to say it's been a pleasure working with you the last 4 years, and watching you grow up to a young adult, and seeing how passionate you are for what you do at Agway, and to see you strive every day to get better, which was awesome. It's been a pleasure working with you. We're definitely going to miss you. You've been an asset to the business, and I know in your next venture at college you're going to do even better. So good luck. If you need us, you know where to find us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, Cam.
All right, Cam. The first thing I want to let you know is breathe. I've known you for a long time. It's been 4 years. And at first when you got here, I'm like, oh boy, what's going on? But then I saw something happen. A young man grow into a young adult and getting ready to go on to his next stage in life and go into college and do things. And I just want to say I'm proud of you and congratulations on what you did here. You really are a smart, brilliant kid, and you deserve a good of applause, not only from your peers, but the people who work here at Domina's Agway. And I like to say, from the deepest of my heart, thank you for showing us that there is youth out there that can strive for greatness, and you are one of those youth.
Hi Cam, it's been great working with you. I wish you all the luck in your ventures in your life, and I hope you come to visit us. We're gonna miss you, and it was wonderful working with you. See you later.
You gotta play all these bloopers. Hey Cam, I just wanted to, no?
Done.
Hey Cam, I just wanted to say I'm glad to have you as a friend, and it's been awesome working with you, and I just want to wish you the best of luck when you go off to college.
Thank God for interns.
It's got my coat mark.
Right there?
It's got my shoe. It's got
What?
both of my